monitoring and analytics, second topic, CloudTrail. So CloudTrail is an AWS service. To be precise, is a managed AWS service that records an action taken by user, by role, or by an AWS services as an event. I said this earlier, CloudTrail monitor events, not performance. These actions that it monitors are known as API calls. So when you log into your AWS account and you do anything, maybe you create a server, you open an S3 bucket, or you start an EC2 instance, all of these are called API events. So once an API event is carried out, API event called, once it is carried out, then this is what CloudTrail monitors. So it records the API call. It recorded the API call that took place, which is the identity of the API call. It recorded the time that the API call took place. It recorded the source IP and more other informations too. So the API, the CloudTrail works in this manner. When you create your AWS account, without you doing anything, there is a CloudTrail that is automatically created for you by AWS. Once any account you create, they created a CloudTrail, one in every region. So this CloudTrail monitors activities that occur in your AWS account, and it stores those activities in CloudTrail events. But the major challenge with this CloudTrail that AWS created for you is that if you go to under the CloudTrail event, or the log that is captured by the CloudTrail that AWS created for you, you can only query it for, you can only get the last 90 days activity. So for example, let's say you create your AWS account. Today is 9th of October. Let's say you created an AWS account 3 months ago, exactly 3 months ago, which is going to be something, if I'm correct, around June, right? July, August, September. So it's going to be around August, exactly, like around August 10. So if you created an activity or you make an API call on August 10th, then is it August 10th? August, September, October. I think it's going to be around July. Yeah, it's going to be around July, whichever, just 30 minutes, exactly 90 days ago. If you create an event, if you make an API call exactly 90 days ago, if you check CloudTrail events, if you query CloudTrail event for that activity today, being the 90th day since you created that service or that API call, you will still be able to get the activity. But once it is exactly 91 days, you cannot query for it again. That data will be wiped out. So this is why when you create your own AWS account and you want to monitor API call, you have to create your own CloudTrail. The CloudTrail that you create, you can determine how long it's going to stay, whether it's going to stay for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or forever. You will be the one to determine. And you can query for any number of days. I believe 7 years, but it's more than 90 days. If you continue using the one that AWS created for you, you can only get data for the past 90 days. So when you create a CloudTrail, when you create a CloudTrail, the logs, once that CloudTrail goes into action and starts monitoring everything that is going on in your account, the log can be recorded or stored in S3 buckets or CloudWatch log. That is where you can store the log. So let's go to the CloudTrail and see some things for ourselves. So I'm going to close this. We don't need this again. And make sure anything you are creating on AWS, immediately you finish, try to delete them. So try to delete them so that you don't get charged accidentally. So let's go to the CloudTrail. I'm just going to search for it. CloudTrail. So currently I've created several CloudTrail before and I've deleted it. So you may not get any information, but good news, you have some. So this is the CloudTrail event. So you can see I don't have any specific CloudTrail created, but the one that AWS created is now into action. because I deleted the one I created. So if you go to event history, this is where you get what is happening on my AWS account. So let me go to my EC2 and let me quickly do something on EC2, and you will see it's going to record here. So what I want to do on EC2 is, let me stop an instance. The instance that was working earlier, I'm going to stop it. So go to stop. So this is an activity, an event. This is an API call. The API call is that I'm sending a stop signal to AWS, or a stop API to AWS to stop this instance, this VM. And once it is stopped, the activities will be recorded in the CloudTrail. So if somebody stopped your instance and they say, hey, it's not me that stopped it, you can just go to the CloudTrail and you will see whoever the person is, or whether it's not a human being, whether it's an application, you should be able to see it. And we tell you the username. You can see when the other time that I deleted the topic, it recorded it down. So let's give it some time, and it will also update this to tell you that I stopped an instance. Just keep refreshing it. It will stop. Let me see the instance. Has it stopped? Yeah, the instance has stopped. So the data should be there pretty soon. It might not be immediately, but it's going to be there. It's going to record that somebody stopped an instance. So while we are waiting for this, let me show you how to create yours. So I'm just going to open another tab. So if you want to create yours, you just need to go to create trail. And mind you that the trail that you create, if you create a trail, which is CloudTrail, it can only monitor events within that region. If you create a trail in North Virginia, you cannot go and use it to monitor activities in Ohio. So be careful of that. So if you need to monitor activities in any of this region, then you have to create a trail in that region too. But this is what you can do. And this is what most companies do as well. I'm going to tell you that. Let me refresh this. Do we get information here? Yeah, you see it? It's here. It said stopped instance. So you monitor it and show that it is root, because I'm using root accounts. I log in with my root, and that's why it tells me that it is root user that stopped this instance. So that is for the CloudTrail to monitor an event. So let's go back to you creating your own. Once you create your own, then I will tell you what I say companies normally do. So to create your own, just give it any name, and I call it management event. Then you have to select the logs that will be captured. Where do you want to save it? Do you want to save it in a new bucket? That means you want a bucket to be created for you on the fly, or you want to use an existing bucket. So if you are using an existing bucket, just select here and browse and pick any of these buckets that you want to use. So let me say I don't have anything in this bucket currently. I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to choose. So you can also give it a key, a prefix, but I'm just going to leave this. And you can log, enable encryption for the log file, so that any log that is captured is going to be encrypted. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to remove encryption for now. So you can either store the log in an S3 bucket, or you can store it in a CloudWatch log. And you can store it in S3 bucket and monitor it with CloudWatch log, whichever one is fine. But I'm not going to use CloudWatch here for now, because I already have S3 buckets. So I can go to next. There are different events in AWS. There are some events that they are called management events, and there are some that they are called data events. Example of management operation events is, for example, when I stop the EC2 instance, that's the management event. When I create an instance, that's the management event. But let's say I have an S3 bucket, then I push a file inside the bucket, that is a data event. That is a data event. Then there can be an insight event to which AWS will use their artificial intelligence. So some of their artificial intelligence can monitor your environment and see if there is any unusual activities, then they can capture that for you. So you can also monitor insight events or networking events. But I'm just going to leave it on management events. Then the management events that you want to capture, do you want to capture both read and write? And you want to exclude AWS KMS events. I will just pick these two because, and most of the time, it's always better to exclude the event, because if you do not exclude it, if a bucket is created, I mean, if an alert is created and is pushed into the S3 bucket and it is logged, then an event is going to be captured. The log is going to capture an event. Whenever the log is queried, there is a KMS activity that will be captured. So these KMS activities will generate too much logs, which might be too costly for you. So that's why they said, do you want to exclude it or you want to leave it? It depends on your organization. And the same thing with RDS, because when, let's say you connect your server to a database. Whenever somebody go or they do something on the server, maybe they view a picture or they created an account, then the database is going to be triggered because the account will be stored in the database. And when that person is doing something, maybe is viewing his account balance or is sending messages, chatting with somebody, there is a lot of activities that is going to be happening on the database. And because of this, it's going to be generating a lot of alerts, and that might be too costly as well. So that's why they put both of them there, that you want to exclude both of them. But I'm just going to leave them. Then when you go on next, just review and make sure everything is fine. Then you create it. Immediately you create it, you start monitoring your environment. You will start monitoring your environment. So don't forget to delete once you finish, because it's very, very important. Otherwise, you'll be sending data to the S3 bucket. So if you go to the S3 bucket that we choose, you will see immediately it will start recording the log there. You can see I open this S3 bucket now. This is the bucket that we pick. If you open this bucket, you will see there's a log already inside it. You can see AWS log. So when you open it, it's going to say it's for this account, then it's for CloudTrail log, and there is no log. But if I go and do something now, let me go to EC2, and this might take some time. Let me just look for one server here. Okay, let me turn on this server, start. So that is an event. So the event will be sent in the CloudTrail log. It might take some seconds, but it will still be here. So what I want to tell you about company is that what company normally do, I don't know if I can do it here. We call it centralized monitoring. So you can have, let's say you have 3 accounts. Let's say this is account A, account B, and account C. Account A is our application account. So anything application goes inside account A. Account B is infrastructure account. So if you want to create any infrastructure, you created it from this account, and those infrastructure like shared services. Let me call it shared services. Go inside account B, and account C, it can be security account. Or this can also be log archived account. So what company we do is that each of these accounts, when they collect logs, they will set up logs in each of the accounts. They will enable log, CloudTrail in each of the accounts and all the region. But they will not store the logs here. They won't store this one log here. They won't do this. All the logs will go inside this place. So this now will be a centralized bucket. This is where all the logs will report. So there is a little configuration that you have to do if you want to do something like this. One of the configuration is that you have to enable this log. You have to make sure that this bucket must allow this log and this log from each of these accounts to be able to save data inside the bucket. The bucket here, we have KMS key that we will use to encrypt the logs inside this bucket. That KMS key too, which is encryption key, must also this account and this accounts too, and their CloudTrail must have access to that log, to that KMS. So if any one of these two does not give access to this CloudTrail here and this CloudTrail, they will not be able to save data here. And that is the mistake or error that a lot of people used to do. And they say, hey, this thing is not working. But they have forgotten that they have to grant access to the other accounts for them to be able to save resources inside these buckets. So that is our CloudTrail, and this is where, let me see, do we have the data in our CloudTrail log? Let me refresh. It's still not there, but it will surely come there. That's all I know. It will surely come. It might just take some time. So I'm going to delete it. I don't want to keep it too much. I actually still need the bucket, but I'm going to delete the tray. Before you delete the tray in the bucket, you need to stop the CloudTrail first. Otherwise, it will go and generate another data there. So I don't have any data. I mean, I don't have any CloudTrail that is reporting inside the bucket. So because I have objects inside the bucket, I have to first delete the object. Then before I can delete the bucket. Initially, I don't want to delete the bucket because I'm using it for a CI/CD pipeline training that I'm creating. All right. So delete. Okay, I'm going to delete this one too. All right, so this is everything about CloudTrail. The third service that we want to look at is a very easy service. Let me stop the video. So if you have questions on this CloudTrail, please leave it in the comment section, or you can send it to our Telegram. Do any one of you listening to me have question on CloudTrail? All right, if there's no question, stop it.